Alright, I was walking past the Dolce & Gabbana store here in San Francisco, and I knew that Devotion Pour Homme was coming out soon, but I just didn't know when it was coming out. So I walked in and asked, and they said it's already out. So guess what I did? I bought a bottle of Devotion Pour Homme, and I'm going to talk to you guys about it here in this video. If you're curious to learn about it, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's me, Sebastian, back with another video, and this time I'm talking about the latest Dolce & Gabbana fragrance, Devotion Pour Homme. Comes, I think, a year and a half after the original Devotion for the ladies launch. This is Devotion, I guess you would call it Perfume because now they have a Pour Homme, but Devotion launched as Devotion in 2023. The original for the ladies, and also there's an Intense, I believe, which I don't have, is created by Olivier Cresp. And the men's is also created by Olivier Cresp. Some people actually say this original ladies Devotion smells like bake from Olivier Cresp. Are we going to get something similar to one of the Acro fragrances here with the men's? I'm not 100% sure. I didn't smell the fragrance. I wanted to make sure it's a complete blind purchase. And I've been anticipating this, but I'm also very cautious if this is going to be any great. They generally make men's fragrances not exciting most of the time, so I'm not saying this is going to be great, but I'm also uncertain how it's going to be. So here is the box for Devotion Pour Homme. I bought the 100 ml. It's $148 for 100 ml. It's Eau De Parfum concentration. There's also a 50 ml for $121. So it's a little better deal. You get a lot more juice though. You get double the juice and you pay around $27 more for an extra 50 ml. So I like that kind of a thing. So it's interesting also with this collection, the feminine and then also the men's, both of them are created by Olivier Cresp. So I guess they're happy with the success of Devotion. So they went with Olivier Cresp for the men's version as well. So for the notes breakdown, in the top notes we have Italian lemon. For heart notes we have coffee accord. And finally in the base notes we have patchouli. They're only crediting 3 notes. Just like the feminine, they only credited 3 notes, a top, a heart, and a base. But this is the women's version. I don't think it's going to smell alike, but it has citruses as well. So the lemons with candied lemons in the original women's, and we've got Italian lemon for the top notes for the men's. Let's go ahead and open this up. If you've gotten your nose on this one already, do let me know what your thoughts are. Add a comment below. What I'm going to do is smell the fragrance on camera for you guys, then wear it, pause the video, and then come back and let you know a couple hours later exactly how I'm experiencing this fragrance so that you know. And I'm not holding, I mean, I'm very cautious with this. I've been burned with the designer fragrances as of late, and especially with the Dior fragrances, and I don't know how this is going to be, but this is an Eau De Parfum. Most likely they're planning on launching an intense version just like they did with the women's, and so this is not going to be super intense. From seeing the notes breakdown, it's very citrusy up top. You've got the coffee accord in the heart. Patchouli, one of my favorite notes in the base. That's why I was kind of excited about this. I like the idea of coffee and patchouli together. They kind of complement one another. And the very fresh start, it sounds fun. So the packaging, as you can see right here, I just want to show you the presentation is kind of cool. Back. They've got the notes breakdown in the back, so it's kind of cool. All kinds of info right there and on the bottom, typical of all. But I like the compact box here. Inside, same color as the outside. And then here is the men's bottle of Devotion. I guess it's a similar design, but obviously the front is not the same. It's a different emblem, as you can call it. And also the cap right here. Look at that. So, I don't know. I don't want to say this, but this is reminding me of some Zara caps. Did you guys get that? I mean, the Zara doesn't have the D&G on top, but this is reminding me a little bit of the Zara caps. But the base itself, the bottle, the glass part is exactly the same as the woman's. So they basically changed the emblem thing and made it a bit more masculine. And then they changed the cap. The glass is the same. So they didn't have to do any extra work to find different glass. So they put all their energy into creating something new here and then finding a new cap for the bottle to make it a bit more masculine, I guess, compared to the woman's. Alright, let's go ahead and smell this fragrance and then let you know a little bit about it. When I was in the Dolce & Gabbana store, I always ask about the pineapple from the fruit collection. That was my favorite. It got discontinued a couple years ago. Absolutely love that. And I wanted to find out if they have it. So I'm smelling something here. Very masculine, fresh, spicy. I'm getting nutty notes. I'm assuming that's the coffee here. So what I'm smelling on the strip is not as good as what I'm smelling in the air. On the strip, the coffee kind of seems hidden, whereas I was smelling the coffee in the air. It had a bit of a nuttiness, but for me, what I'm getting is a nice citrusy balance with the patchouli in the base on the strip. I like what I'm smelling, but I didn't realize this is going to be very fresh. This is super, super fresh because you got a lot of lemon up top. It's developing. Actually, when I first put my nose on it, I wasn't smelling the coffee accord. Now I'm smelling it, but once again, it's a bit on the nutty side. I can't remember. Acra has a fragrance called Awake. Did I get nuttiness from that? I think I did get nuttiness from that. But I don't think that fragrance had lemons in it. I'm going to have to come back to you after I pause the video and see how it compares to Awake. That's coffee, right? Yeah, that's coffee. There's Dark, which is chocolate, and Awake is coffee. I'm not saying this is anything like a wow, but as far as smell goes, I'm kind of liking it. I like that freshness up top, the coffee being a bit nutty. So let's see how this is going to wear on skin. My sprayer, once again, is not spraying very well. What's the deal with all my sprayers lately? Ooh, it smells a little better on skin. I can smell it. It's touched my skin. I make the fragrances smell better, haha. Oh, wow. That's interesting. For me, on the skin, it does remind me of Awake a little more. I don't recall Awake having patchouli in the base notes. I'm going to have to look at the notes breakdown. So this is a very fresh fragrance. It does have that kind of slight gourmand edge to it. But I think the lemons make the fragrance a bit more masculine. You know, you don't have like sweet vanilla here and things like that. The coffee takes it into a slight gourmand direction. Fresh, gourmand, and earthy is how the fragrance is wearing. But it's not a wow fragrance. Sadly, it's not. I think it'll find an audience. I think people will like the way it smells. It smells pleasant. It's not like a wow. It's not like Habit Rouge Parfum, Habit Rouge Rouge Privé, Le Male Elixir, Boss Bottled Absolute. It's not like that kind of a wow designer fragrance. Seems a bit subdued, sadly. Not much projection. I think there's something that, I don't know what it is with the designer fragrances. A lot of time, for me, they feel subdued. And this is because I'm experiencing a lot of niche offerings. And when those things project a lot, and when I smell and experience and wear designer fragrances, they don't have that reach as much as those niche fragrances that I'm used to. So this, to me, seems wimpy in the projection direction. I wanted the lemons to be slightly tart. I don't get much tartness. It's a bit on the sweet side. It's pretty much a simple, straightforward, fresh, spicy, woody fragrance. But we can't forget that it has a lot of citruses, so there's a lot of citrus edge with this one as well. I just wish it projected more. I feel like the citruses are dominating a lot, and it's freshening everything up, and it's shadowing the coffee and the depth of the patchouli. So I wanted the patchouli to stand out a lot more. And even though I'm smelling the coffee, I don't have that depth with this. So I feel like the citruses, the lemon, just totally dominates. And it creates a very, very fresh experience, fresh wear. Yeah, it does remind me a little bit of Awake. I'm going to pause the video now and then come back and let you know what I experienced here, how the dry down is, and everything else. Alright guys, I actually waited a whole 24 hours to shoot the follow-up and my wearing experience with Devotion Pour Homme. And this juice goes down quite fast. Unfortunately, it's one of the most boring fragrances I've put my nose on. And there's not a lot going on with it. It seems a bit overly mixed and blended, and nothing really jumps out. The dry down is one of the most boring dry downs. I don't get patchouli. Absolutely do not. And the more I tested it out, the less it reminds me of Acro's Awake. Acro's Awake is amazing, and it does have lemon in it in the notes, but not as much as the lemon that's in Devotion Pour Homme. So even though both of the fragrances are created by Olivier Cresp, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to smell alike. It doesn't. In fact, it doesn't. I much prefer Acro's Awake over Devotion Pour Homme. In fact, Devotion Pour Homme is one of the most boring fragrances that I've ever put my nose on and experienced. First of all, it's so flat. Nothing exciting about it. It wears so light and so close to the skin. Nothing jumps out. Sure, it smells a bit pleasant when you first spray it. You spray it, you get the citruses, and the coffee comes right through. And at that time, I was mentioning that I'm getting nuttiness. And I had somebody test it as well, and they said the same thing. I'm smelling nuttiness. But I was waiting for them to say if they're getting marine touches. Because when I wear this, it's extremely marine on my skin. No mention of marine notes whatsoever, but I'm assuming that there is some cologne-like notes mixed in here with the lemony, citrusy touches, that it's giving me that marine-esque experience when I'm wearing it on skin. And the reason I wanted to experience this is because I enjoy the ladies. The ladies is quite good. It does remind me of Bake quite a bit more than Devotion Pour Homme reminding me of Awake. Awake is such a better fragrance. It's a given that it's going to be a better fragrance because I'm assuming with the fact that Olivier Cresp created Devotion Pour Homme, Dolce & Gabbana and their beauty creative team probably gave a lot of feedback as to what they wanted. I don't think Olivier Cresp had full creative control over this. Or maybe he did. I don't know. I don't know what happens behind the scenes. This is what I'm thinking, because if he can make Awake, why would he make Devotion Pour Homme? But it's just a different clientele for sure. Let's quickly smell them side by side also. And the thing is, I have the two strips from yesterday, and I'm actually shooting this exactly 24 hours after the first video was shot, and then wearing Devotion Pour Homme last night, and also all day long, testing it out and trying it out. The strip with Awake on it, I can still smell it. Devotion Pour Homme, absolutely nothing. It's so light. It's so faint. It's just a disappointing release, I should say. But let's quickly spray them side by side. I am currently wearing Devotion Pour Homme, and it's not jumping off my skin at all. It's just extremely faint. And you know, there will be people that like fragrances like this. There will be. They're not into beast mode. And I'm not saying Acro's Awake is beast mode, because my complaint with Acro fragrances is that they are a bit on the light side. But between these two fragrances, both of them Eau De Parfum, the concentration and intensity of Awake is much better than Devotion Pour Homme. And also, smell-wise, so much better. And they don't have anything to do with one another. I think people will associate the fact that Olivier Cresp did Devotion Pour Homme and he also did Awake. They're probably going to smell alike. And to me, they absolutely do not. The coffee in Awake is so much better, 1,000 times better than the coffee in Devotion Pour Homme. And the lemons in the Devotion Pour Homme, boring lemons. Give me some tartness. Give me some astringency. Not just sweet, syrupy, hardly lemon-like lemon experience. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys today. I'm just going to let you know once again, this is an extremely disappointing fragrance. I thought it might be pretty good, just like Devotion for the Woman is. And the fact that it reminded me of Bake, I thought maybe this might remind me of Awake. It doesn't. But it doesn't stop there. It's just an extremely boring fragrance that's so close to the skin that it makes me reach for it and spray it over and over again, and the juice goes down really fast. And the other negative thing, the marine touches. Why? Why is that happening? But either way, those are my thoughts for you guys. Do check it out yourself and come back and let me know what your thoughts are on this. Are you getting the same effect? Is it light like I am mentioning it? Or is it intense to you guys or for you guys? Again, if you've been watching my videos and you have been, buying and picking up my recommendations, I don't recommend this one whatsoever. Stay away from it. The best thing about this fragrance is the bottle. Love the bottle. It looks great, although it's pretty nondescript once you just get to the glass part, but that emblem on the cover is quite nice. Either way, thanks so much for watching today's video. Do let me know your thoughts on Dolce & Gabbana's Devotion Pour Homme. Add a comment below. Perhaps you like it, perhaps you hate it. Perhaps you want to test it out. Perhaps you're going to skip it. Do add those comments down below. Otherwise, please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.